Well, welcome everybody to Comicpalooza here in Houston, Texas. So many great cosplayers out there and Fandom and all the fandoms out there and everything. So today I was so happy to get chosen to talk about how to become a background actor in Hollywood. So I don't know if any of y'all are interested in being a background actor in Hollywood film. Some of y'all, awesome. Well, if you have any questions, I know they got a microphone over there. Feel free to come up and ask a question and like that. But I'll kind of go over a quick little part of that first, and then we can kind of dive into a little bit more later on and whatnot. Now, everybody probably has seen a film before, right? So when you have a movie star, let's say you have, I don't know, Julia Roberts or Tom Cruise or whoever, if they're in a restaurant, well, they can't eat in a restaurant by themselves because that just looks weird. So what you do is they hire people to be in the background to look like they're eating there, or a mall, or a movie theater, or airport, or a comic convention. I know they have filmed films in comic conventions before, and probably most of them are actually being paid to be there, and so that's a fun thing. So here's a quick little montage of all the little films I've been in over the years, and I'll kind of show you some more as well. So, is it possible? It absolutely is possible. You can get into a film. And the beautiful thing is that if you look around this comic convention, everybody is a person. And Hollywood wants everybody to look exactly like America. So it doesn't matter if you're tall or short or what you look like or whatever. You can be in the background, for sure. Every one of us can be in the back. Everybody here can be in the background. So let's talk about how the Hollywood system works. Basically, once again, everybody can be a background actor. So you can be a background actor. Because we want it to look like whatever country the film, now I'm assuming we're talking about America right now. So a background actor is someone who performs a non-speaking role in the background of a scene. It helps make movies, TV shows look authentic. Hospitals, concerts, city streets, they all look buried if only the star is walking there. And so this is from central casting. And we'll talk about central casting in a minute. So there really isn't one universal background description for the background actors. But one day you might work in the 80s as a high school teacher. Next, you might be a DJ with your own equipment. The director usually doesn't talk to you because if the director talks to you, you're an actor at that point. So usually the assistant director is the one that talks to you. And your duties could be like, walk from here to there, or walk in this area here, or sit down here, pretend you're eating, and whatnot like that. And you pantomime. You don't want to make a lot of noise or sound when you do those type of things as well. So one of the biggest places to become a background actor is a place called central casting. Central casting basically has most of the TV shows and films probably have, at least especially TV shows, have been cast by them. Now there's some other ones as well. I've worked with Legacy Casting. There's other ones that are around in Texas area as well. And there's a lot of work in Louisiana, most states, Atlanta, there's a lot of work there. Toronto, Canada, there's a lot of work in various places. So how do you get booked? So first thing is that you have to go and to one of these places and either upload your photo or go in person. Central casting, when I went there originally, you had to go in person. And some of the other ones, you just upload what we call a face shot and a body shot. It's going to kind of want to know what you look like a little bit. Then you may put in your sizes, so like an X large t-shirts, what you wear, what shoe size you wear. Because especially if you're doing a period piece, they're going to probably expect that you don't have that type of wardrobe as well. So here's, there I am in Hollywood. You see a nice little Hollywood sign there. I tell you what, it's kind of hard to get that photo because you got to go like into people's backyards and things like that, sort of in a way, into the communities and things like that. So here are the ones that I've used before. Central casting, my casting file is the one And my casting file, if you use that one, you can just use the free one. Just upload this 2 pictures. I've gotten cast with that. If you want to pay some more, I don't know if there's really any benefit to paying for more, especially at the beginning stages. Since you're in Houston, that's pretty close to New Orleans, and there's a lot of work down in New Orleans. I see a lot of work down there. But I see some work in Houston, Dallas, Austin area as well. So those are the big 2 that I use. So Central is in Central Casting is in Los Angeles, New York, New Orleans, and Atlanta. And so those are some big areas for you to go to. And the one thing about this is that if you are booked for Los Angeles, you need to switch to New York City if you go to New York City. Then you got to switch back. So that's one of the things. So when I did it, they only took like 85 people a day. So I got there at 4 o'clock in the morning and they opened up at 8. So I camped out there and you can see people sitting in chairs and things like that. And so I got the pass. That was a happy day because I knew I was going to get in there. And when I was there was a lot of people trying to come up and see if you want to buy photos from them, have them take photos of you, things like that. I would say wait for that. So the next day, I got booked on the Rookie. And so this is kind of what my phone looked like. And there I am. It's actually a still, you see the back of my head right there. And I'm right there holding the phone. They told us there was a fight that happened on the subway. And so they said, take your phones out and videotape. So if you recognize him, if you're a fan of Firefly, that's Nathan. His last name is Finian, either Finian. So, and if you notice right there, he sat right there next to me because that was one blank area. So I actually was sitting next to the captain of the Firefly on my first time doing this. So that was pretty amazing. And you're not supposed to talk to the talents, and because they're like, and he was like kind of in the zone, getting ready to fight or whatever he was doing. So I just was sitting there, didn't look at him. And that's kind of one of the things that you don't approach the talent. Now, if the talent talks to you, you can talk to the talent, but usually they don't. So that was the first part. Then the second part of the day, we were on the beach. I believe that was Ventura Beach, so you can see a lot of bodybuilders out there and stuff like that. So that was a long day. And one thing about background acting, it's not a 4-hour gig usually. Usually it's 12. I've been on set 16, 18 hours. And I started off as what they call second unit, and they needed more people for the first unit. Then they flipped me over to the first unit. So there are times where I almost worked on 20 hours in one day on a set before. So there I am at the Goldbergs. So you can kind of see that was the holding area for the background. That's a shirt they gave you to look like in the 80s. And was it Shameless? You can see me in the background eating at the hotel room there. So I got a screenshot with Macy and Guzman, right? Yeah. So anyways, they're pretty big stars. And you can see me right there eating. The scene on that one was they went in there to steal someone's briefcase. And so basically, they had us in fake eating, and as they walked out after they got done eating, they weren't staying there, so they got a free breakfast, and they took someone's briefcase. So that was kind of a fun scene there. This was a film that Jim Carrey was in, and this is you kind of see me in the background there, back in my head there. And I went there with a suit, and they said, no, that's wrong. So they had me change to something else, and they said, no, this is supposed to be a classic joint. And they came over and asked me, could you put your suit back on? I said, okay. So I got some good screen time there because I was one of the few males that had a suit there that was already ready to go. So that was kind of a fun one. And then Fear the Walking Dead, you really can't tell where I'm at, but I know I'm kind of those little areas there. That was fun getting the makeup on and being one of the walkers. So they were filming this in Austin at the time. And I got to be on the episode of the Goldbergs, so that was the Christy Brinkley episode. So there she is in the Ferrari. That Ferrari is like from the 80s, and that thing just broke down all the time. So they had to like push it around and whatnot. But you can kind of see the arrows where I'm at. They had me with my fake family together. The girl that played my daughter, she was in a lot of episodes. She was like 20-something. but she looked like she could be younger. And they have something called 18 for younger. So the deal in Hollywood, if you're under 18, they got to pay extra, and they can only work you like 4 hours. So if you look like you're 18 years old, but you look younger, you can work all day. You're an adult, so it doesn't matter. So if you're young, if you're 18 or 19 or 20, and you look like you're in high school, you can work on young Sheldon. At that time, the last time I was there before the pandemic, they had a lot of work for high school looking actors and whatnot like that. So that was a fun day. I got to see the Western set. That was really kind of fun to get out there and do all that. And that was another suit outfit they had me in. And this really wasn't background acting, but typically films are just like any other job. They work Monday through Friday, and Saturdays are off. So I was in LA, and I thought, well, they're shooting Let's Make a Deal. I was a big fan of Let's Make a Deal. So I went there on Saturday, and I actually got picked as a contestant. So I was shocked. And any of you all that wants to be on a game show, you could be on there. They interview us beforehand, and I guess I had some type of energy or something, and I got picked. And when Wayne Brady called me to come down, he actually looked at me and said, Herb, come on up. I didn't know, I was like so in shock. I couldn't believe I actually got picked. So that was kind of fun. I got to win $100. I almost won a car, but I picked scissors instead of paper or whatever I picked wrong. I could have won a car, but but that was really fun. And that was something I could do on a day off. This one was the Olympus Has Fallen. This was actually in Shreveport, and so so you can see some screenshots there. I'm actually played a dead Secret Service agent, a taxi cab driver, and you kind of see where I'm at in those arrows there. So that's kind of fun. I love that I'm in a frame with Morgan Freeman, so that's pretty awesome, And Jerry Butler's there also. Jerry Butler is there as well, so that was fun. Aaron Eckhart was in this film, and he played Two-Face on one of the Batman films, and we're waiting in line to get food, and my friend recognized who he was, and she said, hello. He says, how's it going? And he's just getting food. He wasn't even on set that day. He just went to go get free food, I guess. So anyways, that was kind of fun. And so I get to go on studio, so there's my little pass there. You misspelled my name, but that's okay. Got to go to YouTube, and anyways, Warner Brothers, Hollywood and Binder. And this is kind of fun. This was like the last day I went to Warner Brothers, and about 10 hours later, I'm flying back to Texas, flying back to Houston. So I worked till like midnight that night, got back to my Airbnb, got up in the morning, got on a plane and flew on back to Texas. So that was pretty cool. And they feed you pretty well. They usually have a meat option, a fish option, and a vegetarian option. And they usually have lemonade and soda and tea to pick from as well. Now, the above the line talent, they have their own food to pick from, but the crew, usually the crew, I think, eats the same food as the background actors, but I've seen that separate as well. And so, anyways, when I go to LA, I take a lot of public transportation because I'm not even used to drive around in Houston. But anyways, there is actually a train and bus system in Los Angeles, if you go there as well. And while I was there, I was able to go see some TV shows also. So David Spade was doing a show at the time. I got to go see that. I got to go to visit YouTube Spaces there. That was kind of cool. And so these are the text messages I would get. Herbert, you're booked with this, or Herbert, are you available for this? So this is what it kind of looks like when they send that out to you. And when I got home from Texas, I actually had some checks in my mailbox. And they were paying at the time, I think it was $14.50 an hour, and then they go time and a half after 10 hours. So, but they also take out for taxes. So the last time I went to Los Angeles, I actually almost paid for my whole trip by doing background work for 2 weeks there. So that was kind of fun. And during the pandemic, they actually did virtual background work. So I'm in there somewhere on America's Funniest Home Videos in the background there. That's kind of gone away because the pandemic happily has kind of gone away as well. And when I make my own films, I also ask for folks to be part background. The one thing about independent filmmakers like me, I'm usually broke, so I can't pay background actors. So what I do is I get you out as fast as possible. So if you give me 1 hour of your life, I will get you out of there. In LA, doesn't matter, they're paying you. If they don't, I've been on sets before where they didn't use me at all, they still owe me for 8 hours because they might need me. So, anyways. And so there I am making my own little independent films and casting. So that's basically my spiel on doing background work. Any of y'all have any questions on, if you want to yell it out or use the microphone, the question is, do they take care of your airfare? Usually not. They usually expect you to be in the city. Now, if you're cast as an actor, a lot of times they will work with you with that. But yeah, the airfare. The nice thing is being in Houston, people fly to Los Angeles all the time. So if you book it ahead of time, you probably get a round trip ticket for $200 range. So it's not too. The lodging costs more than that. So the lodging, the Airbnb. Last time I stayed at their Airbnb for 2 weeks. It was like $750, I think, for 2 weeks, something like that. So, you have a question back there? Now, there are times when you have a special skill. Let's say that you can ride a horse or a motorcycle or, I don't know, whatever. You got armor for a jousting scene or something like that. At that point, they probably would work with you a little bit. But typically, background actors, it's usually you got to drive to the location. There's a Christian film, what's it called, The Chosen, and they need a lot of people. And they need a lot of men with like beards, going on, like full beards. So, but even they typically are just like having folks come out to, they have like a city up in, I think, Fort Worth area that they use for that. But I've had a lot of friends that actually have used that as well. Yes? Okay, yeah. What I would do is, let me scroll back up here to my little list of places. In Texas, there's a place called My Casting File. I'll find it in a second. I find if I make a PDF file, sometimes it works faster and it doesn't break down as much, so that way I can kind of, Central Casting and also My Casting File. And there's some other ones that are Backstage. I think you paid for that one. Actress Access, I think you paid for that one also a little bit. But the top two ones there are free, and they can just get you started on there. They all have Facebook pages as well. And the one thing like this is that if you agree to go, you need to show up. And for some reason you can't, you need to let them know, because if they book 50 people and 10 people show up, it makes them look bad and the production can't film that day. So once I got on the background list in Shreveport, they knew they could rely on me. So they knew Herb would show up. So once you do, first impressions is always a good thing. They kind of have that role there, on time is late. I don't know if you ever heard that before. In the arts, they kind of say that. So you get there early, 30 minutes early, 20 minutes early, whatever it is. You get there early. That way, if you have anything happening, you've got some time to deal with that as well. Any other questions on doing background work? Well, if you got, yes. Have I ever been cast as an actual actor? I've been cast many times in student films. So actually I got a film on the 9th coming up as a student film. But to get paid, no, I haven't got paid. Now the one thing like this, if I actually lived in LA, I got a certain look. I got a certain nerd look. I was on All Rise. I look like an attorney, so I think I could have got cast a long time there. And then if you're just there, if they need a line for, hey, here's the coffee, I might actually get picked for something like that. So there was one, what was that called, Superstore, that I almost got cast on. And I think if I would have been on that one, I probably would have got a line or something like that. So, you know, it's always kind of interesting as well. Say again? Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've talked to several people before that if you, they needed someone, like an actor didn't show up and you look like you could have been a waitress. There was one young lady I met on one of the scenes. They needed a girlfriend for one of the guys that was in the film, and they didn't show up. So they actually dyed her hair the color that needed to be, and she got bumped up from background actor, which pays okay. But if you actually get a SAG part, that pays a lot. I mean, you go from like 100 and something to like $900 real quick. So I was hoping to get a SAG, like a line or two in there, and it hasn't happened. And one thing that is nice about being background, at some point after you do a certain amount of productions, you can qualify for a SAG card, a Screen Actors Guild card, and from there you can do more things. Now, since I don't live out there, I think I'm close to being SAG eligible. That's what you kind of want to be. So if you do get a part, they can just bump you up to that. So that's always kind of fun to do those things as well. Well, any other questions on doing any background? Oh, they will always ask you first. Yeah, they typically say, do you have these 4 dates available? And if you go through my casting file or central casting, they know all of that. So if they were going to cast you for something else, but you're booked for 5 days for that one, they would rearrange that because obviously they want to have continuity on there. There were several people I talked to that were long-term background. Like they look like an attorney, so they just were their attorney for that for the rest of the season. Or the other thing that you can also do is if you're the same height and hair color as an actor, they use you as a stand-in. So that way they can get lighting, make sure the lighting looks right and everything, and kind of just go from there as well. So, well, I really appreciate you all taking some time out of your busy Comicpalooza schedule to come by and hear me talk and everything like that. And I know there's a lot of really other great panels coming up really soon. I have another one at 4:30 talking about how to make a sci-fi film if you're into filmmaking. So every one of you all can make a film if you want to as well. So I really appreciate y'all taking some time, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your time here at Comicpalooza. Thank y'all.